Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. Today, of course, is the 27th of February, 2022. Big news happening. Indiana Jones 5 wraps production. Jon Favreau's new deal with Disney. It's massive. It's huge. It is, oh my God, it's the Ron Jeremy minus the sexual assault of deals. And of course, my fears about the Batman embargo lifting in the morning. All of that and more here tonight, Hollywood After Dark. Guys, let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. It is another day, another week, kind of the start of another week, right? I took last night off. You know, I opted instead of doing a show, which I had contemplated, I'd considered. I thought about sitting down and working on it. You know what? I decided to do something for me. I decided to take the night for me, and I spent about 5.5 hours playing Elden Ring. And it's a Souls game, so I didn't advance very far. I'm still learning the ins and the outs of the game. I'm still learning my character, what my character, the bandit, can do and can't do. I didn't pick the easiest build, like a samurai, RJ. Or, no, what is he now? He's a mage. He's a mage, right? He's RJ and I have been talking about it. And he's playing as a spellcaster, because he's just going to sit in the corner and, like, snipe spells. You know, like a bitch. He's just going to sit in the corner and snipe spells. He's not going to get in there, get his hands dirty. He's like, I got to hang back and just fire off spells and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's not how I play. It's not how the big dog gets out there, just gets wrecked. I've been getting wrecked a lot in Elden Ring, but I love the game. It's so good. It is so good here. Am I playing the game on PS5? I'm not. I'm actually playing the game on my Xbox Series S. Elden Ring is chef's kiss. It is. It really is. I will fully admit, it is the most accessible Souls game that I've played. And I like that, and I can appreciate that. My very first time playing a Souls game was about 11 and a half years ago. 10 and a half years ago. When I had been fired from my job working at the movie theater, I found myself with a bunch of time on my hands. And my roommate decided to use my newfound lack of job and free time to talk me into buying a used copy of Demon's Souls for like $20. And that game punished me. It punished me. And my roommate loved it. He beat the game a bunch. On my PS, here's the thing. He talked me into buying it so he could play it on my PlayStation. As a result, I never finished Demon's Souls. He did. So, you know, good for him on that one. I have the trophy. Ha ha. But this is the most accessible one. I think it's really good. Lord Slug here says, at least you're doing better than Dark Side Phil. Well, I mean, that's really not that hard to do. The Batman here says, Bloodborne was too hard. Bloodborne wasn't too hard. I like Bloodborne quite a bit, but I do want to go back into it. Hondo asking when am I going to do an Elden Ring review? Probably not, because I don't want to review it until I beat it. And I'm only level 14. All right. Now I know I can go. I found that farming glitch, right? I watched a video today on how to farm 50,000 runes per hour, and I could go and do that, and I probably will, because you know. But where I'm at right now is I died far away from a point of grace, right, to light the grace. I'm far away from that. I had over 5,000 runes, enough to level up a couple times, and I got to get back out there to go get it. So that's my next goal, is to go and travel into an area that is probably going to be very dangerous in order to get back my stuff. But I do very much love the game so far. Dalton here, not entirely too sure why you're dropping this info. This is from a Wikia article, a fandom wiki article, I think, that's largely incorrect. Although this is correct. I don't know why you're posting that, but okay. I mean, that's sure. My bio is my bio. It is what it is. Hey, what's up, multiverse of movies? How's it going, Isaac? What's going on with you? Dalton here says, because I want Matt to know who he is. Thank you. I didn't know who I was. I've been losing myself apparently, all this stuff. But thank you very much for helping out. The Batman here asking, what are your thoughts on the people who were invited to the Galactic Star Cruiser who are now selling things they got from their online? Oh, they got from their online for thousands of dollars. I say this is what happens when you go to these events. All right. Like, it's not uncommon, especially in the gaming space, right? A lot of times you have like your influencers who work for, and I don't even want to say influencers, like your journalists who go to these gaming events where they get swag from these developers and then they go and they sell it. I mean, and I can't knock it. Like when I went to the Nintendo press conference at E3 2006, I believe. And we all like it, that's when they first announced the Wii. Might have been 05. They announced the Wii or whatever. And they gave us the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess trailer on a DS cartridge. And I sold that fucker for like $150 to some girl in Italy. So I'm not really like, I'm not really against it because you get it for free. You sell it. You do it to what you want. You know what I mean? I know people out there that get mad about that because, like, I mean, the price gouging bit's there. I'm not a big fan of the price gouging stuff. Like I was given something and this is what they had bid up to on eBay. But when you're trying to sell, I guess, a hilt for $1,100, I saw an image of that. It is what it is. I don't know, man. I'll tell you this though, my interest in Galactic Star Cruiser is like practically gone. However bad that is to say, my interest in Galactic Star Cruiser is practically gone. I look at the videos of what's there and like it looks too sterile. It looks too clean. I know it's meant to be this like a luxury Star Cruiser and maybe that's the point, but it still looks to me like it's fucking Star Trek. Nothing against Star Trek. I love my Trekkie friends and I like Trek itself. But for the amount of cost for like two adults and like a kid for 2-night adventure being $6,000, what part of like sucking my dick, I'm just not going to pay it. I'm just not going to fucking pay the goddamn money. Sorry. Lower your price, Disney. And then you might get more customers. Lower your price. This is something that I don't view as being, I was hyped for it. And if they would have invited me to go, which they never would have, but if, I would have gone and given my honest opinion on it, but I don't look at it as something that like the value isn't there. And I love Star Wars and I like Disney Star Wars, but I still don't think that the value is there. Let's see. Theo here says cruise ships are overpriced germ hotels. Here's the thing. I'm going on a cruise in a few months, actually. I'm going on a cruise to Alaska. 4 of us is like, I think like $4,200 or something. All right. And here's the thing. It's not that bad. Germ wise, it's not that bad. I've gone on multiple cruises. I've never gotten sick. With COVID, I'm a little bit concerned, but now I'm triple vaxxed. Got my 3 doses. Might get another one before then. Who knows? But I feel okay. But here's why I like cruises compared to like practically everything else. Because cruises, it's all inclusive. You have your room, you have your food, everything is covered, you have entertainment, you have a lot of other things. Practically everything is included. It's just getting to and from the ship. That's your job. Once you're there, you're good. And I don't like hassle. I really don't like hassle. I don't like to deal with shit. So for me, it's like, this works out for me. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it though, to be honest with you. I don't have a single freaking problem with that at all. But Galactic Star Cruiser though is kind of like, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe one day I'll be more excited to go, but for right now, it doesn't interest me. Shifty Gizm, you're not wrong. All right. You're not wrong. It's up for $6,000. You better get a hot Twi'lek escort for the evening. I'm like, yeah, Doomcock made the exact, well, no, Doomcock's joke was fucking like a droid or something, which is really weird. He made a joke. I think we covered it here a few months ago, but he was literally trying to make a joke about like having sex with R2-D2. Like that was his joke. was, oh yes, you for that kind of money, you should be able to put your penis in a robot. And I'm like, dude, at least a Twi'lek is at least remarkably humanoid. I don't know necessarily where the genitals are on a Twi'lek, but I'd be willing to find out. As compared to a droid where it's like, yeah, you know what? I know the thing's full of oil, but that's not the lube I'm looking for. Anyway, so there's that. So you knew someone who worked on a boat? No thanks to, I would guarantee working there sucks. Right? I guarantee working there sucks, but that's the whole point. A lot of people who work for, like, let's say Carnival, a lot of people who work for Carnival, they come from like third world countries, right? They do this. They sign these 6-month contracts with the cruise ship in order to, they live on the boat, they eat, they make very little money. But most of what they get, because all of their room and board is taken care of, they send it back to their families. So it's like they sign up for 6 months and whatever. And last time I was on a boat, I talked to a number of crew members, and they were very, 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 very friendly, and like they didn't appear like, through body language or kind of like holding back tears or nothing. They seemed to like what they did. So there's that. But by the way, we got first super chat here of the night from Shiny 311. I don't know why, I'm kind of tired. It says here, I would do a Twi'lek over a droid. Yeah, no shit, dude. I would do a Wookiee over a droid. I just the hairiest pussy you'll ever fuck. I'll tell you that, though. Imagine that, right? Imagine like trying to find a Wookiee's wet spot. How difficult would that be? I mean, you're looking for the matted fur, right? You're like, all right, it's here somewhere. Like, I found, I'm like, oh God, it's like the underbelly of Kashyyyk in here. My goodness. I'm just saying. Anyway. Anyway, why don't we move on? All right, why don't we get going? There we go. That's my joke of the evening. My first kickoff joke of the night. By the way, there's 84 of you guys in here already. Thank you so much for that. Let me. So I appreciate everybody who's joining up tonight. Well, why don't we get into the news? And if you guys haven't already, toss a like. It does very much help out. And let us go from there. So I did a thing, right, this weekend. If you guys may have seen me, I've been kind of pimping it. I revamped Podio Commentary, right? This is the expanded logo from the podcast, where you can find on like Spotify and iTunes and Stitcher and Google Podcasts and Anchor FM and anywhere you get your podcasts. You guys can check out Podio Commentary. And the first revamped episode is up. And this time I talked about for 39 minutes, nearly 40 minutes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, let me just say, I'm not like the happiest about this particular thumbnail. And I say this because I could not get high quality screen grabs of Leatherface, like, period. Like, there was no EPK that I could get from Netflix. And even logging into their app, right, trying to get a high quality, like the 1080p quality of this movie, to grab a screen grab, I couldn't get it. Even Netflix is broadcasting this movie at like a slightly above 480p. It feels like, even with on a PC and on a Samsung television. So a little sus, to be honest with you, but I did actually enjoy the film. It was cringy, had some cringe moments in it, had some dumb, stupid moments in it. But if you guys got 39 minutes to spare and you want to hear me talk about the subtext of the movie here. So here's the thing, right? Frost Family Takeover here. This is where, dude, you need to listen to this, man. Because at no point is this the wokest movie of 2024. If you know anything about what Tobe Hooper was attempting to do with the original movie, and the fact that the co-screenwriter for the original film also was a producer on this movie, you can start to kind of see the social commentary that was being made about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Did they do a good job with it? The answer to that is no, they didn't. But is it the wokest movie of 2022? Fuck no, dude. It's anti-woke. This movie is anti-woke. Every woke character dies. Every woke character gets got in this movie. If this was a woke movie, they would just, like, Leatherface would slap one of them and then he would be canceled. And then he would be cast out of Harlow and Shame. And then he would have to go live in a bunker somewhere, just leaving negative comments on the internet until everyone forgot about him, and then he would reemerge. No, it's not the wokest movie of 2022. Pay attention. There's actually some interesting social commentary there. There's some interesting social commentary there. Yeah, like I said, and plus, like again, everyone dies. Mladen here says the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 was a fun movie despite its flaws. Yeah, I had fun with it. I had fun with it, man. Yeah, the guy who says, holding the camera, who says, do anything and you're canceled, gets killed. He does, and it's great. That whole scene is awesome. I love that. All right, Rational here says, I sent you a link to an upcoming film. Look at the characters list. Have you heard anything about it? I will take a look at that as we go through. But that, by the way, guys, if you guys do want to listen, thank you for that, Rational. If you, well, okay, you know what? I talk about the school shooting thing in the Podio commentary, Lord Slug. So definitely, like I said, youtube.com/Podio commentary. Anywhere you get your podcasts, it's up. I'm going to be investing a lot of time into Podio commentary as we get through the rest of this year. I'm amped. I'm jazzed. I'm pumped. I'm looking for the next movie to talk about. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Check it out. Subscribe. You know what I'm going to drop that link real quick in the chat. So if you guys want to subscribe and you haven't already, plus it does help me get to the 1,000 subscribers, so I can help push towards monetization. I need 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours watched in order to get myself a little bit of that cheddar cheese. So be sure to check that one out there, youtube.com/Podio commentary. And again, thank you guys. I really like that. Voice of the Emperor here says it's better than Run, Hide, Fight. I haven't seen Run, Hide, Fight yet, but we need to get to that one. Jeremy here asking, what's my thoughts on Indiana Jones 5? We're going to be getting to that here in a minute. So let's just dive right into the show. All right. Again, just because I have to pimp things at the beginning of this, I don't want to dwell on it for too long. I'm not giving you guys a sermon here on a Sunday morning. No, I'm giving you a show. Patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. This is a great way if you want to support like anything I do, whether it's Hollywood After Dark, Boulder Talk Radio, or Podio commentary. $5 is generally a good way to start. Helps keep me and the lights on, especially me. Keeps me rolling in porn. I'm kidding. But allows me to pay for everything in order to keep doing this shit. So that is the best way to do it. Patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Again, no worries. Just putting it out there. Love you lots. But let's talk about the first piece of news today that came up over the course of the weekend. And I have to say, I'm excited for this. I am very excited for this. What we have here from Michael Uslan, who is a producer on Batgirl, posted this cryptic image of the Batman wearing the cape and cowl in the daytime. It says, coming in November, December, or whenever, Michael Keaton returns. Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah. Michael Keaton's coming back. We know this, but now we know that it's going to be November, like the first week in November for The Flash, probably Christmas for Batgirl. That's a hell of a thing. And I say it's probably going to be around Christmas because remember, guys, Warner Brothers is doing that 45-day turnaround. So they get The Flash out first week of November. Then you got to wait 6 weeks. That's basically right before Christmas. They dropped The Flash on HBO Max, followed immediately by Batgirl. That is a 1-2 punch for the subscribers. That's actually a pretty solid thing. And it's one that I'm actually really excited to see how this plays off. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't like the most hyped for this one, for Batgirl. But the more I kind of think about it, the more I see behind the scenes stuff. But the more they show, I'm actually really excited to see what they do with this. Whereas The Flash hasn't excited me at all. You know, I mean, look, in Peacemaker, the finale for Peacemaker, James Gunn did more to make Barry Allen likable, or Ezra Miller likable as Barry Allen, than quite literally Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder. And yeah, I stand by my statement on that one. I liked him in the Snyder Cut more than in Justice League. But Justice League is canon, unfortunately. And at least that one little, like, oh, it's not a rumor line, and that little smirk made him more likable. So we can thank Gunn for single-handedly maybe actually getting people to give a crap about the main character of this movie and not the two Batmen and Superwoman or Supergirl who are popping up in it. Never mind whatever other cameos we get. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, who knows? I will definitely not Cyborg, but a lot of other stuff could go into that. But, you know, at this point, that's what we're waiting on. And I'm hoping that it's all good. Rest right here. Lord Slug, that is true. Michael Keaton just won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Actor in a Dramatic Limited Series. He won for Dope Sick, which is on Hulu. I still need to see that, but congrats to Michael Keaton, who, let's be fair, Keaton's GOAT. Keaton has always been GOAT. And I'm really excited to see him come back. So, Shiftygism here says, everything I've seen for Batgirl looks good, and I'm not even into this stuff. Yeah, I know, man. Like, I'm actually like hyped up for it. So I'm really, really excited to see where exactly this whole thing is going to go. The Batman here says, did Grace Randolph say that the costume is in a weird middle space because it neither looks homemade, but it neither looks professionally made? Well, I mean, this image here is just, it's a promotional photo. I've seen other pictures of her in the outfit from shooting, and it looks a lot better. This one, it's also the high contrast with the light right there because they use like one spotlight on her. So seeing it more in fluid motion is going to be a lot better, but I'm definitely, there's a Voice of the Emperor says, if you see Run, Hide, Fight pirated, it's not, but I don't want to take money out of Ben Shapiro's pockets, Emperor. I don't want to take money away from the Daily Wire. That's why that's a coupon code Gina for 20% off your Daily Wire membership. Gina Coupano. Don't forget that one, man. Lord Slug here says, Cryborg could have had a huge part in the Flash, but he flushed it down the toilet. Do I still have that on here? I think I might have deleted that image. I deleted the image. I had it up here. I had the flush image that I made. Look, man, like Batgirl looks dope. The flush, I want to see it. I will see it. I'll go in very much, with good intentions. You guys know me. You guys know I want to like a movie. If I can sit there and somewhat recommend Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, you fuckers know I'm going to like The Flash. Let's just be fair. We can be real. We can have that honest conversation. We're tight enough on that particular front to enjoy that kind of honesty and openness with each other, right? I can be vulnerable with you. I can come to you and say, you know what movie I really liked? You guys unironically liked The Room. Tommy Wiseau's The Room. I unironically like that movie. That's me being vulnerable. That's me putting myself out there. I'll do more because I'm in a sharing mood. I'm in a loving mood tonight, guys. I also like Adam Sandler movies, unironically. Yeah. Hubie Halloween classic. Look, Hubie Halloween is not a good movie, but Hubie Halloween is literally like the fucking multiverse of Adam Sandler movies. All right. So on that note alone, it makes it better. Maybe that's how we should look at The Flash. We should look at The Flash like it's a Hubie Halloween, where it's like you don't care about the main character, right? But you enjoy all the references, Easter eggs, and nods back to the other pantheon of work and characters and worlds that Adam Sandler has made. I mean, it really is like, Hubie Halloween is Adam Sandler in the multiverse of madness. So there you go. You're tearing me apart, Matt. That's right. I can't do that. I can't do the Tommy Wiseau thing very well, but that I do like Tommy Wiseau. I will say that I really enjoy the Disaster Artist too. I like that one as well. So, all right, why don't we dive in today? And I was thinking RJ was going to be here because RJ was like, "You going live tonight? I want to come on." And then I'm like, "All right." So this is what took so long, by the way. If you're wondering why I was about 10 minutes late, this is the reason. I was getting some information on this new Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Now, I've been playing Pokemon since the shit first came on the scene back in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like I remember playing the Pokemon trading card game, going to my local library to learn how to play it because they actually had organized an event for teaching kids and young people how to play Pokemon. So I was playing the Pokemon trading card game. I remember when I got my Game Boy and I was able to pick up Pokemon Yellow and I put countless hours in that. I went to go see the opening of the Pokemon movie. First day, first showing, skipped school, took some friends. We were the eldest people in the audience that were not adults because everyone else there was fucking children. But no, the three of us teenagers, we snuck in booze and we got hammered and we watched Pokemon. This new stuff is all lost on me. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping RJ would be here to fill me in. All right. I mean, I really went to this. Let's see. Jess here says, you really need to play Arceus. I'm playing Elden Ring. So it's kind of one of those things. I mean, but then again, why should I get Arceus? And that's kind of a problem. Why should I get Arceus, however you want to pronounce it, when we got this coming on the horizon down the road? So what we know about this, according to IGN, is that the Pokemon Company has announced that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, brand new open world Pokemon adventure, will be released on the Nintendo Switch in late 2022. This came during Pokemon Day 2022 Pokemon Presents. These two new Game Freak developed games will feature a new region, and its 3 new starter Pokemon have already been revealed. That is Grass Cat Sprigatio, the Firecock Fuecoco, and Water Duckling Quaxley. Now, I have seen images of Quaxley, and I'm not going to lie. At first, I thought it was an NFT. And then I found out this Pokemon. I'm like, oh, well, like all Pokemon should then be sold as NFTs, because I think it's better than apes. But anyway, so Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are evolutionary step forward for the franchise, and they feature an open world where various towns with no borders blend seamlessly into the wilderness. The Pokemon Company also notes that Pokemon can be seen everywhere in this wide open world, in the skies, in the seas, and on the streets. While we don't know anything about what's going to be different between the two of them, I mean, at this point in time, you should know practically what's going to be different. They should probably just give you all 3 starter Pokemon on the same cartridge and allow you to pick the one you want. But why would they do that? There's money to be made, and Pokemon fans will spend it. Sprigatio, the grass cat, has an overgrown ability, and its depiction says that they are capricious and attention-seeking. Okay, so they're TikTokers. Fuecoco, the Firecroc, has the blaze ability and is laid back and does things at his own pace. Okay, so he's like me. And Quaxley, the water duckling, has the torrent ability and is earnest and tidy. Oh, so he's a NEET who rips all of his anime from his torrent ability. There we go on that one, folks. Now we know Quaxley is an incel confirmed here, Hollywood After Dark. We now understand this completely. But this is what they look like. And I'm not going to lie, that Quaxley is kind of a Chad. I will totally do that. I will totally look at Quaxley as a total Chad. All right. Does Matt not know how trading works? I don't. I have, honest to God, no fucking idea how any of that works. All right. I'm just letting you know right now. I don't play Pokemon. I bought Let's Go Pikachu, right? And I bought that a couple years ago, and I did not care for it. I thought it was way too simple. It was an easy game to stream because it was very easy to stream, but it didn't grip me. I got through Boulder Town, pun intended, I guess, and went from there. But anyway, I do, I don't know. Here's the thing, man, is maybe, again, if I can find like a used copy of the new one, Arceus, whatever, then I might play it. Otherwise, look, man, if someone can find, like, you can recommend me a used copy to get for like $25 or some shit like that, I might play it. I'm not paying full price. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys on that one right now, because I'm probably not going to go through the full game. But then again, it's like, as my kids get older, like I'll introduce them with my Switch to like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, because my daughter does like the look of the game. Animal Crossing, my daughter does. We watch a couple of videos on that every once in a while. And Pokemon and Mario, like those are games I'll introduce my kids to the older that they get. For right now, it's, I'm like, that's why I'm playing Elden Ring, to be honest with you. But another look here, I mean, this looks pretty cool, but then you get to look at this, and I mean, I know this is like probably like your early graphics, but it says game footage is not final down there at the bottom, but it still looks kind of craptacular to me. It just, I mean, the Switch turns 5 years old in just a couple freaking days. And I feel like Nintendo has not done enough to kind of push the boundary forward. You know what I mean? It hasn't done enough to do that yet. And it really should. It should absolutely do that, but it hasn't done it yet. And that's a bit of a problem. So we're going to have to, hopefully do that. Now, okay. So Arceus is the equivalent of Breath of the Wild. And the last sane one here says roughly the same thing. So there's that. Yeah. Anyway, Ryan Hartwell here. $5, man. Thank you. It says Patio commentary suggestions. Texas Chainsaw from 2003 and Pokemon, the first movie. Oh my God. I'll tell you this though, man. I watched Pokemon, the movie, was the Evolution, right? They did that new CG version. I hated it. I fucking hated it. I've watched a couple years ago. I think it was probably 5 years ago. They did one night. They did a Pokemon the movie showing like a Fathom event, right? And my sister and I went to go see it. And my sister shows up to the theater in a Pikachu onesie. And I didn't even feel embarrassed because we were going to see Pokemon. But like, I forgot like that movie is very weird. I like the movie still, but then I watched Evolution and I felt Evolution ripped the heart out of what made Pokemon the first movie good. You know what I mean? I felt it ripped the heart out of that. And as for Texas Chainsaw from 2003, I haven't seen that one yet. So that could be a fun one. Maybe, you know what I mean? I got to figure out how I want to do audio commentary, if I want to go through like franchises or just kind of mix and match for a while. I'll probably mix and match for a while until it gets enough of a foothold to where like the audience is wanting that. So again, I have plans, but thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate that one. Also, there were a couple super chats here. Hondo says Stone Cold Steve Austin says the N-word in The Longest Yard. Does he? Was he holding a puppet? I forget. The Long Yard's a good movie though. That's on Netflix. I got to check that one out again. So thank you. H Bart's here says, I'm planning to cancel my membership and switch to Patreon. Is that better? Yes. So here's the thing with that, not to kind of go off topic to go into chill mode here, but this is the truth. When you give a super chat or become a channel member here on YouTube, both of which are very appreciated. Thank you guys. YouTube takes us 30%. If you do it from an Apple device, they also take 30%. So if you want to help support the channel without doing that, the best way is through Patreon. The downside though, is that you just don't get the little badges and the little emote. I mean, that's the only downside to it. But if that's the case, what I could do, and not that I want to double dip, and again, this is just something I was thinking about, would be like have a 99¢, which is the lowest tier membership for people who want to just do that and then get the emote and then be able to then, if they want to go to the Patreon, that's that as well. But I don't want to double dip. And I feel like that's kind of like a little too complicated. It's unfortunate, but that is the reality of the world that we're in. So anyway, thank you guys for that. I really appreciate that. Oh, he calls Nelly the N-word. Come on, man. He's just got those Air Force Ones. What the fuck? Tony here says, I saw Evolution once. It didn't tell me much of what I don't already know. Well, yeah, it was just meant to be an update. It was just meant to be an update for the original movie. Let's see here. Shifty Gism says, you should watch the greatest animated movie ever conceived, G.I. Joe, the movie. The musical intro alone will grow hair on your chest. Man, that's a thing. I know I've seen the G.I. Joe movie. I don't remember it though. It's been like over 30 years, like 35 years. So yeah, maybe I will. All right. Maybe I will. We'll talk about it. Did I ever see the Yu-Gi-Oh movie? No, I was never into Yu-Gi-Oh. I felt like, I was the young enough age for Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh never got my attention, right? Yu-Gi-Oh never pushed me towards that particular way. So, there's definitely that one. However, I'm not against Yu-Gi-Oh by any stretch of the imagination, but I think ultimately a big part of it for me is just like the vibe of it was different. I played the Yu-Gi-Oh card game one time, and the guy I played against is a dude I worked with, and he was like heavy into Yu-Gi-Oh, right? He was heavy into Yu-Gi-Oh, played it all the time. And he's like, we'll play and I'll give you my deck, right? He's like, you've never played before, but I'll give you my deck. That's a better deck. And I'll play with my crappier deck. And I'm like, okay. And I beat him and he was shocked. He was like, no one's beat me before. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I did. How the fuck did I beat you? He's like, I don't know. Do you want to play again? And I went, no, I want to retire on top. So I just didn't do it. But no, I have nothing against Yu-Gi-Oh. I just haven't done that stuff. All right. Why don't we, I'll tell you this. I collected Pogs. All right. Like you guys might be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards and shit. I collected Pogs. That's what I did. All right. I'm a Pog I'm a pog. Poggers, as the Twitchers say these days. I don't know what that means. But anyway, here's something I wanted to talk about. All right. I wanted to shed a little bit of light on something. Because, hey, listen, guys, I make jokes a lot about sex here on Hollywood After Dark, a show that, predominantly kind of feels a little bit like it's a take on Pornhub. It's Hollywood After Dark. Brown chicken, brown cow. We make lots of cum jokes here. I do specifically. But I came across this article today on Insider, and I wanted to touch upon it because I thought that it was interesting. Now, it's an article all about actors who get horny during film, sex scenes in movies, right? Because I've never been in an intimate scene when I was doing any acting. The one time I wanted to in college was with a girl that I had a massive crush on, but I think she knew because she shut me down. I felt kind of cucked on that one, right? But she had a good excuse, right? She was all like, every other guy that I've done a scene with, we always have to kiss. I just don't want to do that. I'm like, oh, is it because I look like Kevin Smith and the last guy looked like a Marine because he was one? I mean, like, don't let the jelly rolls fool you. I got a sense of humor. No, she was, yeah. I got my ear pierced because of her. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, we went to the mall and we were walking by this piercing pagoda place. And she's like, oh, I got my ear pierced here. And I was all like, yeah, I was like 19. I was like, yeah, thought about getting my ear pierced. I thought it might make me look kind of cool, And she's like, I think you'd look really cute with your ear pierced. And I was like, sign me up. Had a little spike in my left ear for a number of years until I took it out. Because I realized the reason I did it was bad. It was not what it should have been. Anyway, I'm just saying there's all that. Stories from my youth. All right, so going on to saying here, it does talk about this. An actor can become aroused on set. Now, obviously, this is referring to like most likely men. All right. Like, you're naked, you're hot, you're heavy, you're grunting. You're shooting it from multiple angles. There's an actress who might be in like the best physical condition of her life, her best physique ever. She's at the top of her game. She's never going to be sexier. And she's grinding on you in this make-believe, passionate embrace. It probably wouldn't be difficult to lose track of where you were, of what's going on, and just let your body do what it's going to do, which is try to plant its flag. We're only human, folks. Anyway, so according to this, one intimacy coordinator, because they have those now, and that's a good thing, by the way, a professional who guides actors and the crew through scenes with simulated sex and nudity, says here that it's normal for this to happen quite often, like emotions to take over and arousal to take over. So David Thackeray, who's an intimacy coordinator for studios like Netflix and Warner's and Apple, BBC and HBO, places where there's a lot of nudity, says here that it can happen when a cast member is working on a scene. So he says that when this happens, they actually institute a timeout or a pause, and it can be called for a number of reasons, including like choreography that's gone off course, or a modesty garment that has come undone, or arousal. Now, the modesty garment probably feels like it's the most common. All right. So like a modesty garment is when like, you'll have like the actress and she'll wear like flesh colored panties, and that's meant to cover her nether regions. And then on dudes, they'll have like their banana hammock. I'm not even kidding you. Like, it's a flesh covered pouch, and you tuck your balls and your junk in the pouch. Right. And it's like, they call, we jokingly called it an elephant pouch, right? Or like an elephant tusk or something like that. Cause it was one of those things, but it's a cock pouch is what it is. And you just kind of put it in there and you just wrangle it around, and you just make sure it's all nice and snug. But I'm sure during some of those more rigorous scenes, it's, pasties can fall off, things can fall off, and then of course it goes from there. Right. There's I think a 2006 movie called Short Bus. Short Cuts was a Woody Allen movie that had Julianne Moore fully nude in it. Don't ask me why I know that offhand. I just do. Look, mid-90s Julianne Moore. We're talking like 9.5 months Julianne Moore, or like, I don't know, fucking Yeah. What's the one with Mark Wahlberg? Where he's a porn star. Why am I forgetting the name on that one? But you guys don't know the one where he's a monster dick. But anyway, I liked Julianne Moore back in the day. Boogie Nights, that's the movie. But anyway, there's a lot that goes on with that. So yeah, they can, Short Bus is the movie I'm thinking of, and that is an actual simulated sex, like actual intercourse in that movie. So sometimes that actually happens, and I'm pretty sure in this particular case, this guy isn't there. So what it does here is he just says that they're making it really clear that it's normal and that it's the worst thing you can do is carry on. So we call a timeout, give them 5 minutes, you come back in and check, and we go back into it when they're ready. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how is this how often would this kind of thing happen? I'm pretty sure pretty high, right? And here's the other thing with this too. One of the things I've noticed from the younger generation is the younger generation doesn't always understand that men can get boners just about whenever, they don't a lot of younger guys think when they get a hard on, oh, I gotta go put it in something. It's not the case, right? It's the thing. But in these situations, it can happen. It can really happen. And you're meant to be passionate, loving embrace. You're putting them against the wall and you're kissing on their face and their neck and their body. And you're simulating this rocking, brown chicken, brown cow. Right? I guess couldn't even hear that, but whatever. It can happen. So you take 5 minutes, you go do some breathing exercises, you come back. Again, seriously, you do yoga breathing, makes it go away. Right? This is some life advice here, Hollywood After Dark life advice, by the way. If you ever get a boner that you don't want, which since most of you in here are men, I'm sure we've all been there. Here's what you do. You breathe in through your nose. You cue it slow. You count to 7. You hold it for 4. Then you exhale through your mouth slowly for 8 seconds. Count to 8. You do that a couple times. It regulates your breathing. It regulates your blood, your heartbeat. It regulates your body, and it deflates your wang. Or go and take care of it. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm just saying that's a little bit of life advice there. RJ says, I was left to, oh no, this is somebody else. This is not RJ. It's a fake RJ. It's a fake RJ. Anyway, so there's that. Now you learned a little bit here on the show, right? You learned a little bit here on the show. It's meant to be educational and entertaining. That's how we operate Hollywood After Dark, guys. All right. So let's move on to the next thing here, because there's a lot to get through. Indiana Jones 5. It has officially wrapped production. My God, I was afraid this movie wasn't going to happen. If I am being honest with you, I pretty much thought this movie wasn't going to happen. And that's not to say that it's because I don't want it. I want it real bad. The thing is I just thought to myself, Mike, look, Harrison Ford is getting up there. He had the injury. There's been multiple delays because of COVID. They pushed the movie back a whole year. How is this going to go? How bad is it going to get? I mean, a lot of people out there didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's been 14 years. Here's what I'll say about that. It's a lot better movie than a lot of people give it credit for. It really is. It has grown. It has gotten for me better with age. But still, that was a 66-year-old Harrison Ford. And now this motherfucker's pushing, 80 and shit by the time this movie comes out. So I'm a little bit on the concern side, especially with some of the rumors that have come out. And now I am really trying to get myself to a point where we don't talk about that. I really want to kind of keep us on this no more rumors kick for a while, at least. Right. Well, no more rumors from a specific person, but that's a whole other issue. So it's that whole notion of, is this movie going to be any good? All right. Shifty Gizmir says it's not, it's still just as bad. I disagree. I can defend everything about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Every single thing except the fucking monkeys. I can't defend the monkeys. I can't defend the monkeys. I won't defend the monkeys. I like the nuking the fridge thing. The nuking the fridge thing was great because it was very much in line with not only Indiana Jones and like his origins, because it really was. Because remember, the idea, the impetus of the character, when George Lucas pitched it to Steven Spielberg back on that beach in 1975, I think, or 1977. And I think it was after Star Wars. And they're talking about what they want to do next. The idea for Indiana Jones was effectively this. It was meant to be about a character who always gets himself into greater trouble than he needs to be. Gets himself way in over his head, but then is able to find his way back out. Now, I know people think nuking the fridge. How would that even work? It would have eviscerated his body, liquefied his bones. It would have killed. Yeah, obviously. Temple of Doom, they tore a fucking dude's heart out. It was still beating as they lowered him down towards a lava pit inside of a mountain. And then his heart burst into flames. You're okay with that. Raiders of the Lost Ark, they open the Ark, and out comes the force of God, and it just melts Nazis' faces, literally. You're okay with that. Last Crusade, they find the Holy Grail. There is a knight from the Crusades from like the 1400s who has been chilling in a cave in Jordan for like 600 years. Or at that point in time would have been like 539 years or some shit. You're totally okay with that. But fucking monkeys or a fridge, that's too far. That's too disbeliefy right there. Come on. H-Bart's here. Says, I love Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I came in as a new viewer. Dude, yeah, I get that, man. I get that. Anyway, let's see. Shifty gives me says, can't defend the CG ants or them shipping Mutt's bike over but not working it into the chase sequence. The awful swooping camera shots zooming around the ants. I don't think the cinematography is terrible. The ants I actually liked. I thought the ants were really cool. So there's that. All right. H-Bart's here says, I trust Mangold, but Spielberg is kind of an idiot for doing West Side over this. Dude, he's going to probably win Best Director. Like, he's going to probably win Best Director. I think they edged out Denis in order to give it for Spielberg. He's going to win Best Director, dude. So I don't know. Look, I think it's a couple days. West Side Story comes to Disney Plus. I'll watch it then. You know. Well, okay, look. The CG. Okay, it was 2008. All right, so it's like at that time, that was when the CG boom was everywhere. Okay, that was the CG boom was everywhere, and you know, I see why they did it. I don't say it's a good thing, but I see why they did it. I prefer practical. I do. I prefer practical. And I felt that some of the stuff, like, you know, can't say I defend everything. The quicksand scene was pretty lame too. Okay. I didn't care for the quicksand scene, but there's a lot of good in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. There is some shit, obviously, but it's not that horrible of a film. What I think is cool though, what I think is great is there is this shot right. So Frank Marshall tweeted this out today. That's a wrap, you know? And they did it. They finished it, right? But then you got Mangold follows that up with this. And so begins the first day after the storm. And so, I mean, obviously, this is where they get into the editing stuff. This is where they get into all that stuff. I totally get it. But still, it's like, all right, man, like, what is this? What does it mean, James? What does it mean, Mangold? What is this going to happen? I don't know. I'm excited for it. Okay. I think James Mangold is a fantastic director. I think Logan should have been Best Picture of the Year when it came out. It was such an emotional, epic, amazing ride that it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I think Mangold, you know, if you ever seen 3:10 to Yuma, my fucking God, that thing's amazing. You know, I mean, like he took an Elmore Leonard book and he turned it into like a really kick-ass movie that was even a remake of a 1970s film and stuff. You know, Walk the Line was fantastic. The Wolverine compared to Wolverine, you know, X-Men Origins, right? The Wolverine was great too. Fuck you. The Wolverine was great. That's all I'm going to say on that one. He's done really night and day. 2010's Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz Night and Day was a Mangold film, and it was a good movie. It was a fun action movie. I haven't seen Ford v Ferrari, but everyone tells me that it revs their engine up. You know what I mean? That's a great. I need to watch that one too. So, but this guy is a talented director. All right. H Bart's here says, You think Mangold Boba Fett was going to be good? I don't think, yes, I think it would have been perfect. I think it would have been better than what we got with the Book of Boba Fett. All right. But I also don't feel like at the time that was something that was ever on the table. And I say that because that news came out like on Thursday, May 24th, 2018, literal hours before the Solo early screenings came out, right? The preview night stuff right before the movie came out. And that was, I think, meant to be like a big kind of like get the crowds to the theater and get them in there. Cause I think they saw like tracking was not going well for Solo. Again, Solo has found its fan base online or in streaming and home video sales after it came out in theaters. But at the time, it just didn't really get there. It didn't really do it the way that they wanted it to. So really what it boils down to is Solo was, I think it would have been cool, but I don't think it was ever actually in the works. I think it was literally floated out there to try to artificially hype up Solo when they probably should have waited the 6 months, put it out in a winter release, and it would have done better. I also really, 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 really love Solo. So there's that. Let's see. The Watcher asks what Mangold Boba Fett movie was this? This was going all the way back to right before the release of Solo. It's kind of what I just talked about. It popped up in the Hollywood Reporter. And I think Mangold himself had commented that it wasn't even really a thing. I could be wrong on that. I have to go and double check. By the way, we're rocking 102 people watching right now. 102 people watching right now. You guys, thank you so much. Slap that like, hit that like, smack it like you want to smack Vladimir Putin right now for invading Ukraine and getting his ass beat. By the way, good stuff on that front. Not to go too political. We did that the other night, but still, I'm loving what's coming out of Ukraine because they kick an ass and I'm very happy to see that. But anyway, back on point, right? Stay on target, as Luke was once told, or people were told in the Red Squadron. All right, this is the big one. This is an interesting one here, right? Box office. Tom Holland's Uncharted wins weekend as Spider-Man inches closer to 800 million in North America. Now, listen, who would have had Tom Holland saves the movie theaters as their bingo card for 2022. Never would have thought it. But here we are. Even Variety is saying this here. The 25-year-old actor has been all but single-handedly propelling ticket sales at North American movie theaters, leading 2 films in the top 3 spots on the domestic box office charts. Yeah, number 1 and number 3. And I mean, granted, this is like, a lower earning weekend. Everyone's getting ready for the Batman next week. The Batman is going to knock off Uncharted and probably beat the shit out of Spider-Man, but that's okay. They've made their money. They've had a good time. This is what we know. Uncharted, Sony's long in the works video game adaptation, brought in $23.2 million from 4,275 domestic venues. That's a lot of theaters, by the way, right? That's pretty average for like a lot of these big budget films, but it's like still, that's a lot of screens. And then it only had a 46% decline from its $44 million debut last weekend. And that's not that bad. 53 to 58 kind of seems about on average these days. So 46, man, I haven't even gone to see fucking Uncharted yet. I haven't even had the time to go see Uncharted. Now that brings its domestic total to $83.3 million. For big budget tentpoles, which tend to be front loaded in terms of box office grosses, a 50% drop is standard. But making hold for Uncharted, it's a little more impressive. The film did not enjoy the rapturous reviews greeted by Spider-Man No Way Home, meaning Holland's star power likely had a hand in selling movie stubs. It helps that Uncharted is based on an extremely popular video game series that caters to younger males, a demographic that has been reliably going to multiplexes during COVID-19. Yeah, we like movies. I'm not even a younger male anymore. I'm basically middle-aged in a month. But I like movies. I like Uncharted. I like them both. I like pew pew bang bang type stuff. I'm very easily impressed on that front. You give me a fun action scene and I'm like, yeah, it was pretty solid. But Uncharted carries with it a $120 million price tag, and so far has done $226.4 million globally. And that is all before it opens in China on March 14th. So The Batman opens in China. Uncharted opens in China. I think they're going to do well with China money, even though Spider-Man No Way Home has nailed China, or has nailed the amount of money that it's done without needing China. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty big thing. But you can basically see at this point that Uncharted has some legs, right? Even Music Man here is like, look, I might go see this movie. The watcher asking, was the movie that good? I think H-Bart saw it. And I think H-Bart said, if you're a fan of the game, you'll like it. Yeah. Reed here says, see this as a win for Sony. Absolutely. Absolutely see it as a win for Sony. And I besmirch Sony at every fucking step. I do. I get yelled at for it all the time. Matt, why do you hate Sony? Why are you always disparaging Sony? I get this all the time. I'll grant them right now that this has been good for them. This has been absolutely good for them. So I'm excited to see what is going to be going on with this right now. I did see the question in there about the Batman calzone. I haven't gotten it yet. Maybe I will. I don't know. This week, might just treat the fam. Be like my girlfriend, like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, you know what I feel like, babe? You know what sounds really good? You know, in preparation to go see the new Batman movie, right? To go get my fill of the Dark Knight, of the Caped Crusader, the world's greatest detective. But you know what I feel like having? I feel like having a very poorly made Little Caesars Bat Calzone. Doesn't that sound wonderful? And you know what? I'm a moron. I might do it. Lord Slugger says, eat it live on Hawad. Yeah. Be all like, watch me mukbang the fuck out of this goddamn calzone, you motherfuckers. There we go. That's going to make this thing work. I mean, I might try. Is it like the Batman pizza is great? Yeah, but it's just a pizza cut in the shape of the bat symbol, right? Like that's all it is. Is it like, I thought I had a picture of it saved. I might have deleted it. I might have. Let me see if I did. It's possible. This was from like a couple weeks ago when they announced it. Yeah, I think I deleted it. Yeah, I did. So, okay. I had it saved for a little bit, but I had taken it off. But I'll have to, oh, you get a free poster too. Okay. There's that. Cool. Okay. For the poster, I might. For the poster. Now, Tishepo here asks, and this is a great question, actually. This is a fantastic question. Why should fans be concerned with how much a movie makes at the box office? Here's the thing. Ultimately, we shouldn't. And I say this because it's pointless to bicker over this. Hollywood accounting is one of the most like deeply corrupt and idiotic things you will ever encounter. The amount of money that these movies make, it's all just like for sure. It's like fantasy fucking football. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these box office, junkies and shit, this wasn't a sport a number of years ago. No, I mean, people looked at the numbers, the top 10 was there, but it was never like touted around as this thing. It was never meant to be this big how to do, but then somehow it became this metric of determining a movie's success, right? And a lot of it though ends up, look at like Rotten Tomatoes. Should we view Rotten Tomatoes as a metric for success? Whether it's got a solid, audience score or a solid critical score. What about Metacritic, which is, renownedly harsher on these properties, the way that it judges its scores versus, let's say, Rotten Tomatoes? What about Cinema Score, where people interview people as they exit the theater and they're asked what they would grade the film, and they, at that moment, are their most hyped coming out of seeing it. So is that even a valid metric? Should they have, should they interview people the next day after they've seen it to allow them to kind of process their thoughts? It's all for show. It ultimately doesn't really mean anything. And I say this and I use it as a piece of information, and I don't always like it because I always kind of feel like, maybe I don't think I'm lying, but I don't think I'm doing like as good as I could be. You know what I mean? So there's a big problem with that, right? There's a big problem with that. But you're right. Like we shouldn't necessarily care. But people do, and they use it as some kind of like what I fucking hate, man. What I fucking hate is when Shang-Chi came out and did 90 million opening weekend on Labor Day, which has never happened before. And it speaks to the power of the Marvel machine. You had everyone in the fandom menace trying to argue, well, it's like the fifth lowest grossing, Marvel movie, and it's like origin movie or some such fucking shit, I guess, right? It was like they jumped through every hoop, and then you had them going, well, adjusted for inflation, this is what, it's like, the fuck that shit. No one adjusts for inflation. No one adjusts for inflation, because at that point you're literally playing with imaginary fucking money, because adjusted for inflation can ebb and it can flow depending on the price of the dollar, right? And again, I'll just use this as a prime example. Look at Russia right now. They invade Ukraine. The price of the ruble plummets. So if you were to take a movie that came out like 10 years ago in Russia, and you looked at its box office compared to something that came out just last week, and then you're like, well, it was lower, but you can't really adjust for it. You'd have to maybe adjust the 10-year ago box office to, for deflation, really, in order to match it. It doesn't make any sense. It's playing with imaginary money that never existed in and of itself. So it's all stupid. That's all it really boils down to. It's very, again, it's like fantasy football for like assholes, really is what it kind of boils down to. That's my take on it, at least. Right. That's my take. That's my take. All right. Why don't we move on here? So, let's talk about the Batman, because I think a lot of you guys are here to talk about the Batman. You guys have been paying attention to the Bat stuff. I'm not trying to like fucking attack this movie. I got my tickets for fucking for Tuesday night. I'm gonna go see it in IMAX. I'm very excited. I'm gonna go pee first because it's long. I'm gonna get some popcorn. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna enjoy this 3-hour movie I've been waiting to see for years. However, one of the things that I've been seeing kind of float around a little bit is this kind of padding of expectations, maybe, or like this managing of expectations, all about the review embargo lifting tomorrow. Now, it's only a few people that I could find, so it's only a handful of tweets, but it's like enough to kind of make me question, because there has been a group of people who have, especially in like the DC fandom side of things, right? The Snyder fandom. I almost have to whisper that. Because they have their little spies everywhere and shit, right? Everyone. And they're predicting this movie's going to flop, right? Like, oh, nobody wants to see a Riddler dressed in a hefty bag, or Pickle Riddler, or, oh my God, it's a brooding Batman. Oh, all this shit, right? I've been hearing this for weeks. And again, it's now more profitable. It is to attack a movie. It's way more profitable to attack a movie. It's way more profitable to go after a film than it is to prop one up, because people out there, they like negativity. They like hatred for it, right? They like that kind of shit. I mean, like, look, I didn't care for The Last Jedi. I've been very vocal about that. I'm now at this point apathetic about The Last Jedi. Like, I don't care. I'm excited for Star Wars of what's coming, but it's like, yeah, all right. Like, not everything is going to be great. I've been angry about it. I moved on. But in regards to this, I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of tweets here that might kind of make it a little bit on the odd side. All right. Again, this is just something that I again, don't think much about it. All right. But maybe I'm overthinking it, but you guys can make your own thoughts. So, you got this girl here, Jezebel Ray, who is a creature of the night, mermaid of sea, pop culture enthusiast, film connoisseur. No one really special. Okay. Like no one who's in the industry from what I can tell, but she makes a point here. She says your expectations for the Batman review embargo tomorrow morning are unbelievably high. I know that so many of us want what's best and just don't want to be disappointed in the end, but remind yourselves that it's not every critic is going to love this film, and that's okay. Now, I say this, I find this to be interesting because so the other day, there was in fact that little MTV UK little advert that got leaked, that came out accidentally, and it gave, clips from like awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping, the best Batman you've ever seen until the fucking next one. Like that came out, and like John Campea took those clips, took those quotes, and like put it on his thumbnail, and was like, oh, the Batman reviews are in, which is not the case. It's not real. It's clickbait. But he had 5,200 people watching that live stream. So obviously the expectations for this movie are through the fucking roof. I've spoken with 2 people who have seen it directly. So not third-hand knowledge still, but 2 people directly who have seen it. And they have assured me, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I read off one of their statements the other day. It was very vague because they didn't want to say anything that would break embargo, but they assured me that it's fantastic. The other person who saw it has assured me it's fantastic. If you are a Matt Reeves fan, you know what you're going to be getting going into this movie. If you are a Batman fan and you want to see something that takes place during the week of Halloween, it is a 3-hour detective noir, character-driven story about a man fighting not only his inner rage, but who he's trying to be and taking on the seedy underbelly of a very corrupt city, then this is going to be for you. If you want Ben Affleck, this is not for you. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem that a lot of people have. This is maybe why they're managing expectations. All right. Maybe this is why people are out there trying to manage them, because it's not just Jezebel here. You've got Johnny Sobczak, who is a senior writer for Inside Film Room, the North Carolina Film Critics, and UNC Hussman alum, right? So, he writes about movies. He's a journalist. It says here, good time to remind fans that not everyone is going to love the Batman. When the embargo drops tomorrow, there will be people who have critiques and negative reviews. As with every piece of art, don't be toxic and attack critics, especially when you haven't seen the film yet. Now, I mean, okay, let's be fair. Let's be real. We know that that's not going to fucking happen. All right. We know that if a critic comes out and flames this movie, which there might be a couple because they're going to want to get those hate clicks, because hate clicks are a valuable commodity in this day and age. Look at something like Geeks and Gamers. Okay. We know this. They might do that. We might see some stuff that is very kind of lopsided and unfair. That's, again, another reality with these situations. But trying to tell people to not attack is almost like setting the bar or setting the tone for where something could be bad, where something could be not as good as people are built it up in their minds. But I don't know. I mean, this is Batman. This is Batman. Right? It's coming off of Spider-Man No Way Home, which was a culmination of 20 years of storytelling. Again, certain people are trying to say that this movie's going to fail because it's not going to do No Way Home numbers. Are you fucking kidding me? It's not even the same property. It's not the same universe. It's a new iteration of a character. It's been long in gestation due to COVID. It's been pushed back 4 or 5 times. What are you doing? Why are you saying these things that are so fundamentally lopsided that you're poisoning the well? And I feel that the people like this that are trying to make these comments have seen the poisoning of the well, that they've seen that kind of hype and that how it can sway negative super quick. And they're trying to come out and maybe nip it in the bud. I don't know. Now, Big Screen Leaks here says this. In preparation for the Batman embargo lifting tomorrow, don't set your expectations ridiculously high. Not everyone will like the movie, and that's fine. If you see 1 or 2 bad reviews, don't fuss about it because I still expect the general consensus to be very positive. And then he goes on to say, please don't take this as, oh no, the movie sucks. The movie doesn't suck, and I expect good reviews. Just don't expect perfect reviews from every critic. Someone is bound to dislike it, and if they do, who cares? That's their opinion, which is true. The other part of this, though, is that he has confirmed he hasn't seen the movie. So I find that when he says the movie doesn't suck, because I'm sure he's heard from people who have seen the movie, but again, he hasn't seen it. So he can't tell you that it does or doesn't. He actually said this in response to Brendan Davis from Comic Book, where they were kind of talking about it because Warner's did not do a critic screening in Canada of all people. And then he also says, I know, right? Why wouldn't Warner Brothers do a screening in Canada? They've been over in fucking London. They're in Robert Pattinson is in Miami tonight, I think. It's kind of weird. Not Canada, but Miami. Really? All right. But he goes on to say here, a common thing I've heard from people who saw the Batman is the more they thought about it, the more they liked it. And that's because I think this movie is going to have a lot of layers, right? I think the movie's going to have a lot of layers. And as a result of that, it's going to be a very nuanced story. It's not going to be a surface level Batman. It's not going to have your over the top villain. It's going to be something taken very seriously, very dark, very noir. And I think that's possible that it might push some people to kind of, to thinking about it in a different way. Does that mean it might push them to not get what they want on the first go? And as a result of that, once they think about it more a couple days later, it might start to click. Now, and I say this because when I first saw the first trailer for Joker, I didn't care for it. I didn't. I thought, like, all right. I like Todd Phillips. I've always been a Todd Phillips fan. I'm like, trailer didn't do it for me. And I got lambasted for him. And I said that in a video. I said I wasn't really in on it, right? And then a couple days later, I watched the trailer again and it clicked. So that can happen, because I think what it is in regards to Joker coming off of Suicide Squad and how much I enjoyed Jared Leto's performance, because I did enjoy Jared Leto's performance. But what I mean by that is when I look at this whole scenario and I think to myself, okay, like sometimes it may not click right off the bat, because when you think about it, if you were expecting something like what you've seen before, that you liked before, and this is a different iteration, it's not going to land for you all the way. Especially if you are emotionally invested into the previous iteration and you prefer it above all else. How many people since BVS came out literally almost 6 years ago have said Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman? There are quite a few people who were younger who grew up with Ben Affleck as their Batman. Ben Affleck played Batman longer than Keaton did. Between 2005 and 2007. I think even for Christian Bale, I think even, Ben Affleck played Batman. He was cast in 2013. Here it is. We're going to get his final appearance in the fall of 2022, which is, 9 years later. He's had a few appearances and whatnot, but it's like, again, there is a generation of kids who grew up with him as their Batman. And so this is going to be tough for them, I think, to kind of see. People like me who remember going to see Batman 89 and grew up with Keaton as their Batman, and then Val Kilmer, and then George Clooney. We don't talk much about George Clooney. That's a thing. All right. Like, that's kind of the part of it. So it's just, again, I don't think it's gonna be that crazy. Jess here says, Adam West is the best Batman. Nah, I don't know. I love Adam West though. Rational here asking, would you be upset if the Batman got negative reviews? I would not be upset because I still have my tickets and I'm still going to go see it. I would be very curious as to why I got negative reviews. And if it gets generally negative reviews tomorrow, I'll dedicate tomorrow night's entire show to going through them and getting an idea. But at the same time, I don't want to poison the well myself, because I'll be going to see it on Tuesday night. There probably won't be a show. If there is, it'll be super late on Tuesday. So, there's going to be that, but I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to get negative reviews, but there are going to be people out there that definitely are going to hate it. Now, Maladnir says, I love Batman, Matt Reeves, and noir movies. I can't wait to see it. Lucky for me, it will play in my small theater on March 3rd. I'm going to see it as soon as possible. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I can't wait to watch it. I just feel like people out there who wanted a detective Batman are going to be happy. People out there who wanted a Batman that beats everybody up, like the Arkham games, which is kind of what Ben Affleck's Batman is based off of, are going to be maybe disappointed. However, it has been almost 7 years since the last Arkham game, so it's not like it's fresh on everybody's minds. Now, there's one more here, and this is coming in from Viewer Anon, who I trust Viewer Anon. It's interesting to see that he came back. He deactivated his Twitter account after, I think it was like the Book of Boba Fett or something, because like he predicted something and then got it wrong, and then like he kind of deactivated for a couple days to let all the hate comments pass. So take that for what you will. But he says here, the Batman reviews are dropping tomorrow, and I expect them to be highly impressive. Having said that, I already know of a few critics who didn't love it, and I implore everyone to not harass them. Remember that art is subjective. And I wonder what that means. I question what that means. I ponder what that means. Like, sure, not loving it's one thing, but there's a difference in not loving it versus hating on it versus attacking it for something. Like, remember when The Witcher came out and Entertainment Weekly had that guy review it, and the guy was like, it was so bad I couldn't even finish the first episode. He gave it 0 out of 10. And everyone like slaughtered that dude. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of crap is what I'm talking about. Like if a reviewer comes out and attacks the Batman and was like, I got up and left like 20 minutes into the movie, fuck this guy, fuck this shit, fuck Pattinson or whatever, that person, in my opinion, deserves to be raked over every coal humanly possible, because that is not you doing your job. You know, and it's not like playing a video game where you have to invest fucking like 80 hours of your goddamn life to get through it to give an objective opinion. In this case, it's 2 hours and 55 minutes, 3 hours, whatever. You know what? Do your fucking job. All right. Do your fucking job. There's a reason why there's a massive disconnect between critics and fans these days, I think. Now, Waleed here does ask, how much does Batman need to make it a success? Well, okay. So I think part of the thing that is going to have to go for that, quite frankly, is going to be, you look at like, budget costs, like, filming costs versus, maybe marketing. So there's a rumor, that it has $100 million budget, but that was before COVID. Remember, it shut down. So that would have definitely like made COVID, that would have added to the price tag. And that might have still been including the 100 million on that one. But then additionally, when then some other people have said 185 was the budget. 85 million could be marketing. I don't know. If the movie is looking to pull in upwards of $150 million domestic this weekend, then that is making back its production budget as at least what's been reported. At that point would make it a success. Long range tracking is putting it around what, like the $800-900 million range. That's a winner for the studio. Then you have your home video sales, you have your your merchandising sales, you have your licensing agreements, you have HBO Max numbers, all of those things. Because by the way, this will be on HBO Max in April. It will be in April. It will be on HBO Max. So it's like 45-day window. So if you don't see it in theaters, you can get it on HBO Max pretty quick. So I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be all right, success wise. And they're already developing a sequel, provided that they keep everything relatively on point budget wise. I think we'll be okay. Rational here says, hey Matt, if the film does get negative reviews, will Warner Brothers pull a VBS and panic, or will they listen to the box office and audience? Well, oh my God. So, okay. Sorry, I was thirsty. I think with BBS, like the budget was like $220 million, maybe not including marketing. So that's a lot of money that it had to make up. It did 186, I think, in its opening weekends, which is pretty good. And then, it definitely made money for the studio. Not that much, but it definitely made money. With Warner Brothers, though, they have a tendency of kind of like bringing in outside financiers, and they split the profit margin. Joker did that actually, because Warner's didn't really believe in it. So they brought in outside investors and they split the money. So Warner's didn't get as much money, even though they were like winning these awards and shit, and it benefited them financially, sure, but they didn't get as much. So that's something to consider. I think that they're not going to panic, because as long as it crosses $100 million, it's going to be in that range to make its money back, and things will be fine. Things will be fine. I think it's going to be okay on that one there. So I think it's all good. So, all right. Zeke here says, I hope there's barely any spectacle in the Batman. I want to see Batman just deducing clues and questioning his own sanity. Let's go. I think that's going to be what we're going to get. And I can't wait to see. I haven't seen an IMAX movie since The Rise of Skywalker in like it was at the end of December 2019. I took my dad for his birthday to go see it. And I haven't been to an IMAX since then. So I'm excited for Tuesday night. It's already, I have it marked on my calendar. I told my girlfriend, like, I'm going to go see Batman. That's what's going to happen. So, all right, let's see here. Shiftygism says, that's just freaking insane. A Batman movie will be on TV the next month after release. I still can't get my head around that. That's unheard of, even with the day and date releases last year. Well, they learned with the day and date releases that they still Godzilla v Kong, Mortal Kombat, Dune, those actually were able to pull in a decent amount of cash. The Matrix didn't do very well because they opened it after fucking Spider-Man, which was like, I felt like they dumped the movie there. King Richard, Will Smith just won Best Actor. at the Screen Actors Guild Award tonight for that movie. So that's probably going to get him the win for Best Actor for the Oscars, which is going to be really good for Warner Brothers because they care about the statues and stuff. But again, this 45-day turnaround is something that they wanted. There's something that they're doing, because they still need to build up those HBO Max numbers. I mean, if you think about it like this, the HBO Max numbers is about 73 million HBO subscribers. I think is the last number, but that is split. And I don't think it's split 50-50. I think it's maybe 70-30, maybe 60-40. I don't know if that's a generous estimate in my opinion. But a lot of people have HBO subscriptions, right? HBO proper subscriptions. It's one of the reasons why Euphoria has had a larger viewership overall between both HBO and HBO Max than Peacemaker, which was HBO Max exclusive and holds the record now for most viewed HBO Max exclusive. It's a weird thing. This is what Zaslav's going to do when they start kind of like moving their way through all this stuff and they start kind of figuring it all out. I have a feeling in the next couple of years, HBO as a service is probably going to start kind of going away, but maybe not, because if you have an HBO Max or an HBO subscription, you get access to HBO Max, So, I mean, like they just have to like get more people to activate it. I think that's the other part of this too. And maybe that's been the problem. Maybe that's been the issue. I don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see. No. Don't worry about that voice. I saw your super chat. I hadn't gotten to it yet because we're just kind of on this whole thing. Kira here says, can't wait to hear what Andre thinks about the Batman and coming lunacy. Oh, Andre Cedino. Yeah. That guy's fucking weird. Yeah. He's definitely a weirdo. Andre Cedino is kind of a weird guy. But all right. Voice of the Emperor here for $5, man. Thank you. Says Ryan Johnson, AKA Star Wars Judas, desecrated expectations, not subverted them. Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the thing though, is this is an entirely new, if Ryan Johnson would have not come in to do the middle film in a trilogy and having only written the middle film in a trilogy without consulting the person writing the third film in the trilogy, or hell, fucking setting anything up for the third film in the trilogy. My God, I don't want to litigate this. I'll be on it all night. If they would have done that, it would have been a different story. That being said, I love Knives Out. I can't wait for the Knives Out 2 and 3. So you know what? I guess every cloud, there's a silver lining on that one. Who knows? But thank you for that, buddy. I really appreciate that. All right. So why don't we get into the last little bit for the night here? And that, of course, is this is coming in today from the Direct. Mandalorian director reportedly has an insane new contract with Lucasfilm. And look, man, like we know. Notice how I segued into Star Wars from Super Chat? That's how I work, baby. That's why I hold off sometimes, because I'm smart. And I'm a showman. But when you have these situations like Star Wars, where it was in 2017, 2018 to where it is now, it's kind of resurgence, I think, has a lot to do with not only Jon Favreau, but very much Dave Filoni. Here are two guys who are storytellers, generally speaking, in different mediums. Jon does great with television, does great with movies. Dave does great with animation. Dave is becoming a much better director. He is learning, by the way, from Ryan Johnson. Say what you will about the story of The Last Jedi. It was directed well. Okay. So in this particular case, this is what they're saying about this. And I didn't highlight it because I'm just going to read the whole thing. Saying here in a new report from Puck News' Matthew Baloney. So that's a source I think a lot of people out there can kind of get behind. As discovered on Twitter, has shared new information about the Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau's contractual ties with Lucasfilm and Disney. Now, initially, Favreau and Lucasfilm reportedly only agreed to just one season of the original Disney Plus Star Wars show. Following season one's successful shoot, I think we all knew how successful it was. The two parties signed an insane deal for Favreau to continue developing projects for the galaxy far, far away. Agreeing to his current contract, which includes a plethora of bonuses and incentives for writing and directing individual Star Wars episodes. Despite the lucrative deal, Baloney believes that it is unlikely that Favreau is receiving royalty payments for the Mandalorian merchandise sales. Now, look, that's just Disney being Disney. All right. That is Disney being Disney. He may not get the money from the merch sales, but you know what this does? It opens up the door to like literally whatever he wants. They get to open up the door to literally whatever he wants, and very much, whatever movie he wants to make. It doesn't matter. He could do like, he's like, you know what? He goes to Bob Chapek. He's like, you know what? I have an idea. I want to remake Song of the South. And Bob Chapek will be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're getting rid of it in the theme park. Like, if I can't IP push this, what can we do? It's like, no. I have a solid idea for Song of the South. Let's do it. $1 billion Song of the South movie. It's going to be the Black Panther remake, And then, of course, they do that. No, I don't. It's thought of like the least culturally sensitive Disney movie ever. Anyway, so, no, but my point stands. He'll be able to do whatever he wants, is generally what I'm trying to say. So it goes on to say here that this report makes it clear that Jon Favreau won't be leaving the Star Wars story anytime soon. Although the Iron Man director initially only took on duties for the first 8 chapters of The Mandalorian, he's played a role in nearly every Disney Plus entry to come since that time. He's already attached as an executive producer for Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka series. While it's unclear how many entries he will direct and write, that shouldn't be the last time fans see him in the universe. Having also, and again, keep this in mind, this part right here, this is big for Mando Season 3. Having also provided his acting talents to the role of Paz Vizsla in one chapter in each of both of his first 2 shows, Favreau's influence, well, no, he was in chapter, he was in chapter 3 of Mando, and then, Book of Boba Fett, all right, whatever. His influence can't be understated. This new contract only nails down how much influence he will continue to have on Lucasfilm, continuing expansion into episodic stories on Disney Plus. All right, let me just put it to you like this. Paz Vizsla, right? So the story of how Dave and John got together was actually, it goes back to Iron Man. They were both at Skywalker Ranch. They were both doing the sound work on finishing the sound for both Iron Man and the Clone Wars TV show. And they were like, that's how they met. And as a result, like, Favreau was the first person to see the Clone Wars animated movie, and Filoni was the first person to see Iron Man. And they've been friends ever since. And obviously, like, look, Filoni is a fantastic world builder and a fantastic storyteller in his own right. I mean, look at Shiftyism here makes a great comment. Thank you, Shifty. Says, Dave killed it with Bad Batch. Just finished up that 2-part finale, was amazing. The animation and art direction has reached a point of realism where it can convey actual tension through believability. And I agree. I love the Bad Batch. I can't wait for season 2. So it's really one of those things where it's like those two work together very well. The problem, I think, with the Book of Boba Fett has a lot to do with like establishing the character and giving him a reason. I still think that what's going to happen with that, if you go back to the end of the Book of Boba Fett, the end of the episode, it's no one, and I've seen no one talk about this. So maybe I watched it wrong. I'll have to go watch it again, but I've seen no one talk about this. And it's almost like Boba doesn't want to be the daimyo. He's all like, someone else should do this sort of thing, right? There's a line he says to Fennec about it. And it's almost like they're talking about, well, what should we do now? It's like, well, let's go back to fucking piracy and thieving and shit. That's more fun. Or let's topple bad guys. We're going to become the let's go work for the New Republic. Maybe that's what they're doing. Setting up Boba Fett as a ranger for the New Republic, because we know he's a gun for hire. Cad Bane was all like, he worked for the Empire. Like, you fucking worked for the Empire, most likely. You're working for the Pikes. Clearly, you work for whoever's got the most money. Tell me it's been 30 years. You never worked for the Empire? Bitch, please. Also, rip Cad Bane. Like, seriously, that still fucking angers me. But anyway, I think they're going to move those characters into Mandalorian season 3. But then again, Tamara Morrison has not really been, hasn't really been doing much, I think. He's back home in New Zealand. However, he did say that it took 7 months to film the Book of Boba Fett. And I don't see how it took 7 months to film that show. I really don't see how it took 7 months to film that show. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes down. But I do think that Favreau overseeing the live action Star Wars on Disney Plus, at least through the Heir to the Empire arc that they are clearly leading to, will be massive for Star Wars fans. And with the Galactic Star Cruiser kind of hitting a bit of a bumpy ride in the beginning for, you know, its $6,000 price tag, they're going to need something to keep fans going over. So I think this might be a thing. I think this might be, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be very good for Favreau. And that's all I got for my coverage of things tonight. Why don't we can chit chat for about 10 more minutes, and then I got to get to bed because it is Sunday night and I got to take my kid to school in the morn. We're back on that schedule again. I'm very happy for my daughter. She's been missing school. So she's going to go back. She gets to spend time with her friends tomorrow. That's great. I get to go to the library. I get to research a movie for Podio commentary. Don't quite know which one yet. We'll have to wait and see. But let's see what you guys have to say about this. I see Mo Moon in the chat trying to get everyone talking about his movie Moonfall that no one saw. No one saw Moonfall. Let's see here. The Watcher says, Matt, I'd like to see them make more than a trilogy with Pattinson. Like kind of build his life story at like the Holland Spider-Man and give him 5+ films. That's a lot. That's a lot of commitment, man. That's a lot of commitment for Pattinson. A trilogy gives you a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's generally how stories are told. You know, I mean, if they can make it work, they can make it work. But I don't think they're going to do that here. Andy Signore went to a screening of the Batman. They invited him, but not you. Well, the thing is, he lives in Tampa, and there's a lot of critical screening. It's a critic screening is what he went to. Okay. If you want to get in on these critic screenings, you have to literally just find the email of the person who organizes them in your city. I live 60 miles south of Seattle, 100 miles north of Portland. So if there's a bunch of screenings that go on in Portland all the time. I get emails for them, but I'm not going to drive 100 fucking miles one direction for something that's not going to be big. You know, if it was for the Batman, I would drive. Yeah. But if it's not going to be for the Batman, I'm not going to do it. I know it sucks. It sucks that he gets any kind of support. Benson here says, watch the Vikings Valhalla series on Netflix this weekend. It's excellent. I don't know. Is that a prequel or a sequel? I don't know. I've never seen Vikings. I've heard a lot about it. I've seen some of the women in that show pop up on Reddit. So yeah, there's that. Anyway. Josh here says, Matt, with Keaton coming back to the Batman franchise, do you think that Tim Burton would ever return? Just wondering. I don't think so, man. I mean, well, okay. I think, you know what? I think Burton, he might have one more in him, but Burton, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like he's lost his spark. You know, I kind of feel like the Superman Returns debacle or Superman Lives debacle kind of fucked with them, you know? And I haven't really cared much for Tim Burton's work in the last couple of years. Now, this Wednesday show that they're doing over on Netflix, right? The Wednesday Addams show, that could be interesting. That could be something we're checking out. I don't quite know, but we'll have to wait and see. Rational here asks if I've seen Don't Look Up. I haven't seen Don't Look Up. It copies the plot of Southland Tales. I mean, wasn't that like all about the Book of Revelations and shit? I haven't seen Southland Tales since like 2008. So it's been a long ass time. But I do need to watch it. Let's see. Jess here says, I watched the other videos on Galactic Star Cruiser. There are ones that do some better justice, but still not worth it. Yeah, I know. I mean, look, man. And thank you for the $5, by the way. Like, I'll put it to you guys like this. Like, let's say again, I'm just speaking in like, you know, hopefully eventualities, but you know, whatever. If I can turn this like show into a bigger late night show and get, you know, like near campy levels. That's going to be a fair amount of money coming on in. I could actually afford to go and do something like this and then accurately report on it. Now, I'll be honest. If I went to Galactic Star Cruiser, would I be giddy as shit? Fuck yeah, I'd be giddy as shit. I'd be filming every little thing I could. And probably things they don't want me to. And I'd be talking about it because it'd be cool as fucking hell to go to. I'm not going to sit there and say it's not cool to go to, but it's like, I can't justify the money. And I'm a cheap ass. So it's like, I mean, having fuck you money to spend $6,000 to go to this thing. I just feel like where we are as a culture, as a society right now, it just kind of feels like really, I don't want to say like irresponsible to go. If you got the money, you got the money. A lot of people out there ain't going to have the money. It's an experience. And I think they're exploiting that. I think they dropped the ball with Galaxy's Edge. I think they backed themselves into a corner by trying to frame it around the Resistance versus the First Order. it makes no sense because you can't expand upon those stories. They don't have, I don't think they have Mando walking around or Baby Yoda walking around, do they? I might be wrong. I feel like they've really screwed up in trying to tell those stories there, and that's kind of the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem there. Let's see here. Watch Moonfall and you're in the moon cult. Well, you know what? I haven't watched Moonfall yet, buddy. I'm really sorry. It should be on, I don't know who distributed Moonfall. It should be on streaming here pretty soon. Says that. But one thing I want to take a look at here is this is what sent to me earlier from Rational. It talks about an Untitled David O. Russell project. I forgot about this one, right? So this is an American filmmaker, David O. Russell, is directing an untitled period film. It was filmed in LA from January to March 2021, featuring an ensemble cast. So that's already like a year old, right? Well, who's in this movie? You got Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Rami Malek, Zoe Saldana, who, by the way, was in LA at that time filming Avatar, I believe. Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Timothy Olyphant, Michael Shannon, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy. Taylor Swift is in this, right? But we don't know what the fuck it's about. We don't know what in the hell this movie is about. And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's from 20th Century Studios. We David O. Russell is an interesting guy, looking here at his filmography, right? He's done some good movies. He's done some really solid movies. He's also a dick from what I hear. He's just a piece of shit from what I hear, but that's okay. You separate the art from the artist right now. That doesn't know. The things he said to Lily Tomlin, that ain't cool. But he did a 1994 movie called Spanking the Monkey, which was right about the time I learned that terminology as well. Different reasons. Then he did Flirting with Disaster, which I never saw that one. It's a black comedy film written and directed by David O. Russell about a young father's search for his biological parents. The film stars Ben Stiller, Patricia Arquette, Téa Leoni, Mary Tyler Moore, George Segal, Richard Jenkins, Josh Brolin. All right. Stiller. But see, this one here, Three Kings. If you haven't seen Three Kings, fuck, this movie is amazing. It's a black comedy war film written by O. Russell. It stars Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, Ice Cube, and Spike Jonze as 4 soldiers on a gold heist. It takes place during the 1991 Iraqi War. Three Kings is amazing. I am, I'm very, very excited for Three Kings. I need to watch that again. That movie was dope, dude. That was one of the first Blu-rays I owned. Then he did I Heart Huckabees. He did The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, he did Joy. I saw Joy. I didn't care for it. I didn't care for Joy at all, but that was the last one he did was Joy. It was meant to be this like, Jennifer, it was supposed to be an Oscar project. It was Oscar bait. All right. Who are the producers on this film? Right. Okay. So let's see. Okay. You got, produced by Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and Michael Bay. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. That's a hell of a thing. I never realized that. Holy shit. Why in God's name? I mean, look, Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan, I mean, they're friends, so, but Michael Bay, what is this movie? Yeah. What is this movie? I don't know. And now I'm absolutely intrigued. I'm going to bookmark this with, there we go. I saved it to my Instapaper so I can go back and take a look at this here, but I don't know what that is, man. That's fucking nuts, dude. That is absolutely insane. So, all right, guys. I think we'll take yeah, Joy did not work as Oscar bait. It did not work. It work? I mean, it might have. It just wasn't very good. I didn't care for it. Kira here asking, did I know about the show called Super Pumped, which is about Uber company? I did hear about that. I did see the trailer for it. Looks pretty good. Hold on here. Wait. Is it a troll job? Let me see here. All right. Well, okay. Um, there's an article from, I don't know, man. There's an article from Deadline Hollywood from March 2020. Emmanuel Shivo Lubeski serves as DP, set as DP on David O. Russell's new Regency biopic with Christian Bale. Oh, new Regency pick with Christian Bale and Margot Robbie. See, look at this here, right? I mean, this is a real article. So, I mean, are you sure it's a troll movie? Because clearly there's something here. He shot something. So I don't know, Brandon, if it's a troll movie. It could be a troll movie. Could be interesting nonetheless. So, all right. So yeah, there's that one there, but cool. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is still alive. Yeah. He is, folks. JGL is still alive and rocking his cock out there. And then the Batman here says, let's not forget that Francis Ford Coppola is also making a movie. Yeah, $120 million passion project as a way to perhaps, as a way to maybe, finish out his career. Like, 50 years after The Godfather comes Megalopolis. Anyway. Mage here says WB should go after Mel Gibson to direct Suicide Squad 3 since Gunn is focusing on spinoff series. Dude, that would be dope. But oh my God, man, so many people would be upset if they got him. Imagine if Mel Gibson directed Jared Leto as the Joker in the Suicide Squad 3. I mean, like, would Margot Robbie come back? I don't think she'd come back. I still think she is the reason why we haven't gotten the haircut yet. I still think that, but I don't know. Anyway, guys, on that note, I am going to go to bed so I can get up and take my kid to get an education. I will be on tomorrow night for another episode of Hollywood After Dark. If you had fun with this solo Matt tonight, no panel, no friends, just me and you, 1-to-1 conversation. You had all of me for about 100 minutes. Hope it felt good. It was worth it. Leave a like. If you're new, hit that subscribe. The Discord link is in the chat right now. Join up. Check that out. We will be doing watch parties pretty soon. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow. We'll talk about the Batman a lot this week. All right, guys. Peace.